And it's something that, the reason I say, abuse from women, abuse from the feminine, is I see it more from women, but men can also abuse from the shadow feminine. Because the way I view it, you know, other people don't have to see it this way, but this is just the way I see it. How I conceptualize it is that yin force, that yang force that exists within all of us, the polarity of the masculine and the feminine, and that can be expressed by both men and women. Generally, men being more in the masculine core, women being in the feminine core. But this is something that can absolutely be seen among men as well. Um, but I like to highlight it as like abuse from women and the shadow feminine, because in our day and age, I don't see a shortage of call outs on men. Like, you need to do better, you need to step up, you need to stop doing these things. Like, there's already plenty of voices there. And so, and not so many on the shadow feminine and abuse from women, which is why I want to speak to it. Because what had surprised me, even as was I first started talking about this in 2023. This was on my old Instagram account, but I was doing Q&As as well, just to ask women, like, what have your experiences been with the sisterhood wound? Because the only reference I had was a movie that I never watched called Mean Girls, but I had kind of a general gist of, okay, yeah, women can be pretty mean to each other if they want to be. But I was so surprised to hear stories from women where two women specifically DM'd me saying, I've experienced sexual and physical abuse from men. That was still nothing in comparison to what I've experienced from women. And that doesn't apply broadly to every woman, right? It has their own experience. For those two women, like, that was very much their reality. But it was very moving and surprising to hear that, because most of the time, right, we hear about overt abuse and the scars that it leaves, and it certainly is dark, pernicious, and awful in the scars it leaves when men do that to women. But I was so surprised to hear these stories of how women can behave quite cruelly to one another, and there's like a, unspoken contract in the way that you must behave around women as a woman to make sure you're in good standing, and not, the nail that sticks up and then that gets hammered down.